In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I've used YouTube over the past 2 years to drive over 6 figures in sales in my business without ads and without going viral. So we've just recently passed the 2-year mark since I started uploading weekly tutorials to YouTube. I think in the past 2 years, I've missed maybe 3 weeks, if even. So I've been very consistent with uploading 1 video a week. And as time has gone by, we have just passed the 7,000 subscriber mark, which is amazing. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for being here. And if you're not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every week when I release a brand new video on building your own online business. So I was looking back over the numbers, celebrating the 2-year mark, and I've also noticed that I've started getting a few comments here and there on some of my videos asking about my tips for building a YouTube channel. So I figured this would be a great time to do a series for you on some of my best takeaways and tips from the last 2 years of building my YouTube channel. And so today in this video, this is going to be the first of the series. I'm going to share with you 4 of my biggest takeaways, my high-level strategy that has helped me go from making nothing using YouTube to making 6 figures in the last 2 years. So let's jump right into it. The first tip that I have for you that I personally did is that I did not monetize my content. And what I mean by that is I did not turn on monetization, so I'm not running ads on my channel. Now this might change in the future, so if you see ads here in the future, maybe that has changed, but I did not, at least for the first over 2 years. And that was very intentional. That's because my approach for YouTube was not to monetize via the ads that I could show, but via the audience that I would build and then use that to connect with people who might want to buy my coaching and my courses. So I really focused on having that be a front end kind of lead generation source where I focused on creating really great free content, letting people find it and enjoy it, and really building that trust that, hey, this is someone who has good content, who shows up every single week, who knows what she's talking about, and letting that build over time so that when someone felt like they had learned enough from my free content, and if they wanted to learn more from me via any of my courses or my coaching, that they could go ahead and do that. So you'll notice how I do that is at the end of pretty much every video, I share a PDF that you can sign up to get for free. And through doing that, you join my email list. And once you're on my email list, I start sharing with you all of my courses that I love. I start sending you almost daily weekday emails, and it's a relationship that continues to form off of YouTube. And so YouTube is just the front end kind of first impression. Let's connect. Let me give you some really great free content. If that's all you want, great, use it, love it. If you want more, then here's how you can learn about how to get more with me. And that has been really pivotal to driving 6 figures in sales. And I'll talk more about that in one of the following tips in just a bit. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is that I focused not only on my ideal customer, but on my ideal customer at the ideal part of their customer life cycle. And what I mean by that is if you think about how a customer, your ideal client, moves through just the different phases of just before they decide to buy, it usually looks something like this. The first phase might be at some point they have awareness of their problem. They realize it's a problem. Maybe they realize they want a new job, or they want to lose weight, or they want to find a romantic partner, or whatever it is that you help them with. But it's not enough for them to really want to take action and really solve that problem yet. So you stay in that phase for a while. Then the second phase that you move through is essentially, okay, I have a little bit of interest in figuring out what the solutions are. And I can do some research. Maybe I watch some free YouTube videos. Maybe I read some free blogs, read some books, things like that, just to dip my toe in the water and see what's possible. And I start realizing, okay, so there are lots of options and solutions to help me solve this problem. Then at a certain point, your ideal client reaches the desire phase, essentially, where they're thinking, okay, I am ready to solve this problem. I am ready. I've done the research. I know it's possible. I know what my options are. I'm ready to essentially pull the trigger and get support in some way, shape, or form, whether that's buying a course, hiring a coach, so on and so forth. And so when they reach that phase, then they buy. Hopefully from you, but essentially from whoever is the best fit for them. And then after that, they become a customer. And so what I did for the first 2 years was I focused specifically not just on my ideal client, someone who is a smart, good person in a job wanting to build their own online business. I focused on people specifically who had already moved through the first 2 stages of that life cycle. And so they were really focused on, okay, I know there's a solution. I'm ready to take action. Let me find what my options are so that I can go out there and make the best choice for me to support me. So I focused specifically on that. That's why you'll notice for the first 2 years in my business, pretty much all of my videos are focused very clearly on giving very tangible tips to someone who is clear that they want to build a coaching business, an online coaching business. And so that is what I focused on, where I wasn't trying to give really high-level entrepreneurial advice. I wasn't trying to talk to everybody. I wasn't trying essentially to get as many subscribers as possible, although of course I was wanting to grow. Let's be very clear about that. But I was focusing on the people who were most likely to use the information that I was providing for free and potentially consider buying from me. And the reason I did that was because I was not looking to chase the number of subscribers. Again, I was looking to grow. I still love to grow my channel, but my first focus was, okay, can I figure out a way to make this profitable? Just knowing myself, and for most entrepreneurs, you have limited time and resources. So what you choose to invest in has to make sense for you. So I told myself, okay, let me do this. I'm gonna be in it, and I'm gonna focus on getting to profitable on YouTube as quickly as possible so that I don't lose my own motivation, because I'm human. And so because of that, even though in my first 3 months, I don't know how many subscribers I gained, very few, to be honest, I had already made my first sale of my course within 3 months. And that helped me feel excited, helped me really see, okay, this growth is happening. This is happening a lot faster than it did, for example, when I first started blogging seriously. It took a lot longer to build up. And that made a really, really big difference. So when you're thinking about that for yourself, I would really think through not just creating content for your ideal client, but your ideal client in the phase of their customer life cycle where they are interested in looking for actual help, not just kind of thinking, okay, let me play around with this a little bit and maybe I'll be serious about it later. Look for people who are really serious about taking action and getting help now. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is, contrary to popular advice, not to create videos on the same topics that everyone else is creating. I know that's very popular advice for how to figure out what YouTube videos to create. I didn't want to be competing on the same topics as everyone else and talking about the same things as everyone else. Instead, I focused on creating content that I knew my dream clients cared about. And I did that by thinking about what are the top questions that my dream clients are wondering and asking me all the time. And those have actually become my top performing videos. So I've got a video on how to get your first paying client. It's one of the most common questions I get all the time. I've got another video on how to create your first ever coaching package. And again, that's such a common question. And those, again, were not created by looking at other people's channels. They were created by sitting down and thinking through, okay, what are the top questions people ask me about this? And if you don't know, you can go ahead and do some market research and get people to tell you what their top questions are. But essentially figure those out and create content on that. And when that happens, you're going to naturally attract the right people for you at the right phase of their customer life cycle. And so through doing that, I was able to create content that I knew year after year, week after week, would continue to build up for me. None of my videos to date, not saying it won't happen, but none of my videos to date have gone viral within a short amount of time of being published. But my videos have slowly built up momentum where a few of them now have thousands or tens of thousands of views, and they continue to drive each quite a few subscribers every single month. So that is tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to focus on your content instead of the fancy stuff. And by fancy stuff, I mean the fancy video editing, maybe getting a video studio, some of the things that you might think are necessary for being successful on YouTube. I will tell you, when I first started, I just sat in front of my laptop. I didn't even have a microphone, and I just sat down and recorded. I have done videos. I've tested videos without any editing. I have tested videos edited by a video editor. And nowadays, I would just do very simple video editing on pretty much all of my videos, and that is it. And yet we have amazing retention rates. Our stats are amazing. I mean, you can, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you probably know this. And it's because the content is good. Right? And so that's what I would focus on, which makes it a lot easier for you to get started and be consistent versus having to put out a lot of time, energy, money, resources up front in your YouTube channel, maybe being a little bit stressed about having it pay off for you or take off right away. Which is not necessary when you could just do it this way, focus on sharing great content, do it consistently, and see it start building up actually probably a lot faster than you might think. Remember, as I mentioned, I had gotten my first person who found me and loved my content and went on to buy one of my courses within 3 months, and once I started posting consistently. And after that, really, it just continued to build every single month. And year over year, it adds up. This time last year, I believe every month we were adding maybe over 200 subscribers to YouTube. Now we're adding over 500 every month. And probably by this time next year, we'll be adding 1,000, 2,000 or more. And so it snowballs if you just focus on these tips that I shared, which also makes it easier for you to get started, focus on the right things that matter, and help you have that long-term approach that is going to help you succeed both quickly and long term with your YouTube channel. Now, I do want to share a few caveats. The caveat being that when I started my YouTube channel, I did have an existing audience and business, and I do want to note that for full transparency. However, that being said, I did not really send my audience to my YouTube channel. I did not use that to grow it because I was focused on using YouTube to help me connect with new people versus sending my existing audience to it. So that's a really important note that I want to put out there. Now, I did have existing credentials that I could refer to, and that did help, but no matter where you are in your business right now, you can always refer to your career credentials, your experience credentials, whatever it is that is allowing you to help people with whatever it is that you're helping them with. So that I did want to share. And it was also helpful that I had an existing business so that I could I already had the existing offers, coaching offers, products that I was able to sell. But the truth is, over the years, I've helped quite a few clients and students do this for themselves, right? My specialty is not in helping you go viral on YouTube. It's helping you start driving sales via YouTube. And well, that's not my specialty. It's one of my areas of experience. Let me just put it that way. I do not consider myself a YouTube expert by any means, just enough to share with you some good experiences. And they have come to me with no existing audience, no existing business, and then done the same, because essentially it's the content that you're creating on YouTube that's doing the heavy lifting for you and helping you build that trust with your potential customers. You don't need a fancy system or a ton of products on the back end. In fact, you can start out just saying at the end of your videos, hey, if you're interested in getting more help from me on this, go ahead and click here, schedule a call with me, or apply to work with me via coaching, something super simple like that if you need that to get started. So those are the 4 tips I wanted to share with you in today's video. To next week, look out for the next video in the series where I'm going to be sharing with you some quick and easy tips for how to get started with your first YouTube video today. Put it out there, get started, no overthinking, the tools you need, the step-by-steps. I'm gonna share that with you in next week's video. So if you're not subscribed and you wanna see that, make sure you hit the subscribe button to be notified when that video is released next week. In the meantime, I do have another great video for you if you're starting out and you're starting to think, okay, well, how can I craft my first coaching package? And I'm going to link that for you, one of my top videos actually on how to create your first coaching package, either somewhere on the screen and or in the description below. So make sure you check that out. And as I mentioned earlier, I love sharing a great PDF resource at the end of pretty much all of my videos. It's a 15-second script to help you get your first or next paying client. So again, that PDF will be linked for you either somewhere on the screen and or in the description below if you want that. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.